How to fix threads without a tap and die. So these are my bolts, and I have to do the hole that they go into. This top one's fine. This bottom one's fine. And this one here has some crap in it, and so does this one. It's kind of hard to see, but right in here, threads go around, and then as you're coming up to this top one, it starts to come out. So there's a bunch of crap in it. And then this one here is even worse. You can see right here, there's so much crap in this one that it almost goes completely flush right here. So we're gonna use a pick, try and scrape most of that out, and then a wire brush to get the rest of the crap out. And the only things that we're gonna be using is WD-40. Alternatively, you can use anti-seize because it actually has little particles of other metal in it, which acts as kind of like a buffing compound, like an abrasive in it. So it also helps clean it out. But for the most part, we're just gonna be using WD-40. I don't use the anti-seize until I'm doing the other part, like the bolt or the nut. In this case, it's part of the vehicle, so I use the anti-seize in there, and then it also stops this from happening the next time, because then there's residual anti-seize left in it. So we are going to take these two bolts. These ones are fine. And now the first thing is just to take a wire brush and just try and get as much of the crap out as possible. I also sprayed the brush with WD-40 just to help it slide easier. And I'm using a steel bristle brush, not brass, because brass isn't going to do enough. We need some impact here. So there we go. So most of those threads are all cleaned out. It's just these top ones that are giving us issues. So now I have pick here, a small flathead screwdriver, and then an even smaller one. So we'll start with a pick, and we're just gonna kind of get anything out. No, nothing's really coming out. This is really in there. Oh, we're getting some material out there at the top. You just have to watch, because a lot of these things are gonna be sharp when they come out, and they're gonna stab you. So now you can see that we're actually getting some of the thread back at the top here. Now we're just going to keep going around, working our way down threads. So you can see these little chunks that are coming out. Wow, this is really in there. This is going to suck. We need something sharper. So the very small screwdriver. You can also try to use a file to get in there if you have one small enough. But finding one that small is hard, and you're more likely to find a tap and die set than you are to find a file that small. Also, when you're doing this, keep your hand below the threads, so when it slips, you're not gonna stab yourself in the hand. So anyway, you just keep going at this. Okay, so trying to hold it by hand kind of sucked, so I'm going to try a chisel. Now, using a chisel that's already fucked is a nice start. Oh, this is working beautifully. Got some more in there. It's a slow and painful process. Now, back around. Spin it one more time. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Gonna chase those threads down with a screwdriver. Make sure there's not tons stuck in it. Right here, it's still pretty grimy. There we go. You have a bolt where the socket was slipping and it made these gouges, and then the edges start to bow out or round over and you can't get a socket back on. You can just take a file and you can just file those down. Another thing worth mentioning is files only work in one direction. Each ridge on here goes out and then across, so that way it cuts into the material as it's scraping across. And I've seen so many things of people saying not to back drag a file. So that would be when you're filing, pushing on the lead stroke, and then you drag it on the way back. These are hardened steel and they're cutting the bolt. It's not going to do as much damage as you may think it is. So the backstroke isn't doing anything. It's just gliding across. So you're just scraping the metal across for no reason. So you always want to go in one direction to keep it as flat as possible, but it really doesn't matter. Like, you can go back and forth like this. I'm only pushing on the lead stroke and then it's just dragging as I lift my hand. but I'm not taking it completely off, so I don't have to reline it up, and it's a little bit faster. Not that I'm in a time crunch or anything, but it just makes the job go by quicker. Let's get rid of those burrs. There we go. Find a 16 mil 5/8 will work. Oh, beautiful. You're also supposed to use a soft jaw, but I don't have one, so paper towel will work. Oh, look, the threads are still perfect. So there you go. Now the edges are all nice. Yeah, I can put this back on. It's not a showpiece by any means, but it's functional. Just to clean it up. Back down with a wire brush. Might as well try and clean the head of the bolt a little bit since we're here. Okay, there we go. Threads recovered. Didn't need a tap and die. Now, the next step for doing a nut, or in this case the socket where it goes, we'll grab one of these ones that's still fine. Clean that up a squeeze. Okay, looking pretty good. So now we need a 16, we need the anti-seize and the WD-40. And we'll take that small screwdriver with us too. Grab this guy. Gotta go under here, fix the hole. So up here, so this one here, I already ran one down. This one here is the one that's being an asshole. So that something happened, there's corrosion or something, I'm not sure. But so now what we gotta do is we gotta take the anti-seize and we're just gonna like cake it. Like just like way too much. And we're also gonna put it like right in there. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna take this bolt and we're gonna start threading it in. And we're going by hand. And then wherever there's resistance, so we're good. Right there. Right there's resistance. So you can see it's stopping, just finger tight. So we're just gonna kind of force it past that. Now it's good. And we're gonna run it back. We're just gonna keep going until that resistance is pretty much gone. And then whatever was stuck in the threads there is now being pushed out of the way, or it's being ground down until it's no longer an issue. Which is why I'm using anti-seize as an abrasive, because we're essentially sanding the threads right now. And now we're just gonna keep doing that. Oh, there's a lot there. Okay, getting really grimy right about here. I think that's bottomed out because there's a bracket that goes under here, which it stops dead, so it's probably not threaded any further past that. But right at that top piece there, it's really bad, so that's probably why there was tons of stuff stuck in the threads. And you just keep doing this, working it in. Now it's like butter. Like this is nothing to take this out. There we go. And then you can actually even see there's some gray material right there. So that's particles of whatever was stuck in the threads that was then ground down into a paste with the anti-seize. So now we just have to clean this up. That hole's fixed, and then we can do the other ones. Take the old WD-40 and just kind of hose it in there. Perfect. Take your screwdriver, get it all the way up there, and it's clean, so there's nothing else in there. Now, just for good measure, I'm gonna spray this down with WD-40. Get any crap that's on there off. I'm just gonna thread it all the way in, and then all the way back out. Okay, it stopped. Now, all the way back out. There we go. Ran the threads down, fixed the bolt, fixed the hole, I guess would essentially be the nut, and we didn't need a tap and die set. So now I'm just gonna do this to the rest of them, just for good measure, make sure they're all perfect, and we're in business. Oh. Yeah, so hopefully that helps you out. It sucks, it's time consuming, but it's a lot cheaper than buying a tap and die set, especially when you're probably only gonna need it once. Unless you do this stuff regularly, then you should probably buy a tap and die set. Have fun. Stay calm. It fucking sucks doing this shit.